Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 408, Cistercian Legends of the 13th Century. Link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links to my books blogs. This will go under the folklore header, although it's kind of sort of an academic work when you think about it. 174 pages, so it's reasonably full length. Very good work. I didn't expect that a work on effectively an element of Catholic legend from, again, the 13th century would be one of the most interesting works that I've consulted, but it really is. The Cistercians have a very interesting sense of humor at times within this work. You have everything from the mundane to the highly supernatural, so you'll get one legend and it's just about a friar in some particular act of charity or convincing some lord to stop being a tyrant or something like that, all the way up to people being tricked by Satan by him appearing as an angel, like an angel of light, like in his Lucifer form, and trying to convince monks to do things that are not biblical, and, then they say, "Get thee hence, Satan," and, he screams and disappears and stuff. So there's a lot of the spooky woo stuff, if you're into that. There's also a lot of just legend and folklore in general. One of the most fun stories, I have a feeling this is the sense of humor, again, that shines through among some Cistercians. And if you don't know anything about their order, specific order of monks, very much ascetic, quite pious. Also, they had a focus on work ethic, at a time when most religious orders focused mainly on silence and prayer, sort of withdrawing from society, not really engaging in the work aspect of life, but withdrawing. If they worked, it was like illuminated manuscripts and stuff like that. The Cistercians grew crops and shit like that, though. They did textile work. They did carpentry. They were expected to work hard. It was considered virtuous. It was considered the natural order of man. In one story, a couple of Cistercian monks, spoiler alert, the story, I won't flesh out the story, I'll just give you the basic too long didn't read version. A couple of monks, they go to dinner with a specific lord. He's trying to treat the monks, as guests because they're traveling, and they go to dinner. And he's serving Brussels sprouts, and they're decadent, they're soaked in butter, they're cooked in butter. And one of the monks is, of reasonable intelligence. He realizes, oh shit, there's butter in this. But we've been told by our particular head monk that we're not allowed to eat butter. It's too indulgent. It's too rich. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to live an ascetic lifestyle, so he won't eat them. The other one's a simpleton and proceeds to eat his Brussels sprouts. He doesn't realize they were cooked in butter. At the end of the meal, the Lord asks the more intelligent one why he didn't eat him, and he explains, "I'm not allowed to eat butter." And the other monk's angry at first, says, "Well, then why did you let me eat it? You just caused me to sin." And he's like, "Don't worry, my brother. I didn't want to rob you of a good meal. Your ignorance has saved you from sin." In fact, the idea you didn't know what you were doing. You had no clue there was butter in it. Well, there was no will to sin, so you didn't sin. There are some humorous takes within this work. I highly recommend it. It's got the humor. It's got the supernatural, like Satan stuff and witches and things like that. A lot of overlap with politics, geopolitics at the time as well, at some stages. Again, trying to convert some lord from tyranny to piety. Tales of, knights that are unrepentant, even to the point of killing the monk, trying to convert them, but then in the end, they find forgiveness and they become very charitable and they work for the Lord and join the order and stuff like that. A very interesting work. There's even one little slap against the Benedictine order at one point in here, where a couple of Cistercians show them up with their great piety. This also is a repeat theme in some of these works, where priests are negatively compared with Cistercian monks. So the priest is pontificating about the Lord and religion and order and stuff, and then the priest is completely showed up, upbraided by the Cistercian monk who happens to be visiting or something, and in the end inevitably admits that the Cistercians are more wise than the Catholic priesthood. Very, very amusing work. Again, highly recommended. It is folklore. It was compiled by a person who is himself Cistercian, I believe. That being said, it basically just relates the tales in dry form. So very, very well made overall. You don't have to be a Catholic to appreciate some of the folklore here. Again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon. One of the top recommended folkloric works I've ever read, honestly. Second and third links to my books, blogs, and I'll get that blog post up, of course, later. That's about all. Peace out.